Our project is called MoneyPath Network Champions. We choose to develop these projects because finance is an important life skill. Yet, many people, especially young adults, find it confusing or difficult. In fact, research shows that only 30% of young adults worldwide are financially literate. This means most struggle with issues such as poor budgeting, overspending, and lacks of savings. So, instead of teaching finance through books or lectures, we designed board games that makes learning about money management fun, interactive, and engaging. Let me now give you an overview of our project. First, the title of our game is Money Path Net Worth Champion. The purpose of this project is to create an educational board games that teach players how to handle their personal finance. Second, the projects emphasize the value of financial literacy. Through this game, players learn 4 key areas, which is incomes, expenses, savings, and debt management. These are the building blocks of financial stability. Third, the main objective of the game is simple. Players compete to maximize their net worth, which is calculated as cash plus savings minus debt. The player with the highest net worth at the end of the game is crowned the net worth champions. Finally, the project matters because it addresses real problems many people lack the skill to manage money effectively. By gamifying the process, our board game simplifies financial concepts, encourage participants, and provides practical lessons that can be applied in daily life. Now we move on to slide project descriptions. Now let's look at the project description of our games. So for setup, each player begins with 200 in cash, and empty savings banks, and a debt record sheets. All tokens start from the start position on the game board. So rule of play, on each turn, a player rolls the dice and move forwards, depending where they lands. So they will have 2 color box, which is on green box, they draw an income card to receive cash. Meanwhile, on a red box, they draw an expenses card and must pay. Then they also 3 special box, which have different effects. Jackpot, which is number 1 jackpots, gain 200. And then big expenses, you will need to pay 150 ringgit. And investment, you pay 50 ringgit and add 100 into savings. At the end of each turn, player can choose also to transfer money into savings. This shows the importance of setting money aside for the future. There are also rules, which is debt rule. If a player cannot pay any expenses, they must first withdraw from savings, and if it is still not enough, the unpaid balance is recorded as debt, which will reduce their final net worth. This rule stimulates the impact of overspending and borrowing in real life. So, winning the game ends when all players reach the finish line of after an agreed number of rounds. Each player calculates their net worth, cash plus saving minus debt. The one with the highest net worth become the net worth champions. So, the educational value we can learn is the game teach practical lesson. It shows that uncontrolled spending leads to debt, saving regularly improves stability, and small investment decision can grow wealth. Most importantly, it encourages players to think strategically, just like they would need to in real life situation. Thank you. Now we move on to our next team member.
Alright, so I will be explaining to you about the Gantt chart. To manage the work, we prepared Gantt chart. This chart allowed us and showed us the project timeline from the 25th August until the 19th September 2025. It helped us plan each stage, avoid delays, and stay on track. It showed us who was responsible for what. For example, Alpha did the introduction, overview, and description, while myself, Amir, worked on the Gantt chart and documentation. Kay handled the contributions and the game visuals. Isma worked on the reflections, improvements, and the conclusions. With this, everyone had a clear role and the work was divided fairly.
Okay, now let's get into students' contributions. For our project, we divided the work into 5 main parts, which is planning, game development, report development, presentation, and submission. The tasks were distributed fairly and based on each member's strengths. Some focused on designing and testing the game, others handled writing and editing the report, while another group worked on visuals, presentation, and final submission. By organizing the responsibilities this way, we ensured that the workload was balanced and that the project was completed smoothly and effectively.
Alright, so we are moving on to the project documentation. We have 2 parts for this. For the first part, I will explain to you about the board game progress. So we began with the draft stage. this is where we had our first idea. We talk about finance topics like saving, budgeting, and investing. We also draw rough sketches of the board and make simple rules. Next stage is the prototype stage, where we have a better version of the board add on with these designed sample cards and wrote clearer rules. We tried our different winnings conditions and tested how the game might flow. The last part, as you can see here, the last part is the final version of the game. We polished the board and we created the actual board game concept and cards to make it look more nicer and easy to understand. We also make sure the finance lessons were clear while playing. This was the version we used for this presentation. All right, so this is the next part of the project documentation, which is a human work progress, or we put it professional as in the report. So in the draft stage, we held meetings to brainstorm and share research. We also divided the task among group members during this stage. And for the next is the prototype stage, where we work on drafts and shared them with each other. Everyone gave feedback, as you can see here, and we used that feedback to adjust and improve the game. So the feedback was from us and also from two other people that is giving inputs to the games and our ideas. In the actual stage, we actually played the game ourselves to check if the rules work and if the game was smooth and if everything was easy to understand. After that, we finalize it and we put it in this report, slides, and also in this video. This process also shows us how the team worked together step by step until the project was finished.
Now, let's get into visuals and media. To make the project engaging, we use visuals and media that highlight the key concepts of financial literacy. The game board itself was designed with clear colors, which is green for income and red for expenses, so players can quickly recognize what action to take. Icons and symbols were added to make the instruction easy to follow without needing long explanations. We also included charts and graphics in the presentation to show how net worth is calculated. Cash plus saving minus debt. These visuals don't just make the game attractive, they also help players connect the gameplay to real-life financial lessons. The media elements make the game more interactive, so instead of passively reading about financial planning, students can actively experience how decisions affect income, savings, and debts. Now, you might be curious about how to play this game. Our game is called Money Path Net Worth Champion. The objective is to finish with the highest net worth, which is calculated as cash plus savings minus debt. At the start, each player receives 200 ringgit in cash, an empty savings bank, and a debt record sheet. Everyone places their token at the start box. On your turn, you roll the dice and move forward. The color of the box tells you what to do. If you land on green, you pick an income card and gain money. If you land on red, you take an expenses card and pay. Special boxes create more variety. Jackpot gives you 200, big expenses make you pay 150, and investment let you pay 50 ringgit to add 100 into savings. At the end of your turn, you may transfer any amount of cash into savings for future security. If you can pay an expense, you must use your savings first. If that's still not enough, the unpaid balance is recorded as debts, which reduces your final net worth. The game ends once all players reach the finish or after a set number of rounds. Everyone calculates their net worth, and the player with the highest total is crowned the net worth champion.
Okay, for this part, which is a reflection and lesson learned. First, lesson learned that we get is simplify finance concept. One key lesson that we learn is how to simplify complex financial ideas, like budgeting, saving, and debt management can seem difficult, but we was able to turn them into an easy game mechanic that player of any age can understand. Okay, for the second point is a balance, fun, and education. Another reflection is the challenge of balancing fun with education. We had to make sure the game stayed exciting while still teaching real money management skill. Through several tests, we adjusted the rules so players stay entertained and still pick up important lessons about personal finance. We go to the third point, which is clear rules are critical. We also learn how important clear instructions are. During early playtest, some players were confused by the wording of the rules. We write the instruction back to be shorter and clear, and we also added examples so everyone could follow along without difficulty. The last but not least for the lesson learned that we got from this game is a grow in skill and knowledge. Finally, this project helped us grow personally. I improved my creativity by designing the cards and boards, and also my teamwork and I have a good communication skill while play the game. Researching financial concept also deep my own understanding of money management, which is a valuable skill for the future. Okay, for this part, which is a future improvement. First point is a more cut scenarios. First, we plan to expand the income and expenses decks with more realistic solutions such as tax, unexpected medical bills, and even side hustle opportunities. This will give a player a wider range of financial choices and make the game feel closer to real-life money decision. The second future improvement that we plan is increased player interaction. We like to create more opportunities for players to interact with one another. Ideas include auction where players can bid for asset, joint investment that require teamwork, or trading option that let player negotiate deal. This feature will make the game more dynamic and strategic. Alright, we go to the next future improvement, which is enhanced online experience. Since the game already has an online version, our focus now is on improving that digital experience. We want to add a smoother interface, brighter visual, and optional feature like multiplayer chat or achievement badge. This will keep players engaged and make the online version as fun as the physical board. The last but not least for the future improvement is the level and visual upgrade. Finally, we plan to introduce different difficult level and refresh the visual design. A beginner mode will make it easier for younger players to learn, while an advanced mode can challenge adults with more complex financial concepts. At the same time, we like to upgrade the board at work and materials so the games look more polished and more professional. For the conclusion, the development of MoneyPad Network Champion successfully turned key personal finance concepts like income, expenses, saving, and debt management into an engaging learning experience. By blending entertainment with education, the game then demonstrates that financial literacy can be accessible and enjoyable for players of all ages. This project not only reinforces essential money management skills for participants, but also provide me and my team as the designer with valuable insight into creativity, collaboration, and real-world financial planning. With continued refinement and wider play testing, MoneyPad has the potential to become a practical tool for classroom, workshop, and family game night life. That's all from my team. Thank you.